Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It's Tuesday morning, the 5th of March. We're sticking with the Madeline Soto case today. And after yesterday's video where I analysed Jenn Soto, Madeline's mother's interview with, WRTV, I think it is. I've been asked to analyse the other interview that she did with Fox 35, the knuckle-cracking video, as I call it. So I'm going to do that in this video, but first I've got a few things that I want to show you. This is the most bizarre interaction between Stephan Sterns, who is Jenn Soto's boyfriend. It's been alleged that they'd split up. Clearly back together, but I don't know whether that's true or not. But this is bizarre. Obviously caught on camera by a journalist, but this is Sterns being comforted by Jenn Soto. And I just find this weird. This is Maddie's stepdad, mom's boyfriend, who has no genetic link with Madeline. And then you've got the mother, who is the genetic mother, who's comforting her boyfriend. He's just very good at dabbing his eyes and making himself look upset. I suppose if this had been a genuine situation where Stephan Sterns had actually dropped Maddie off and then she'd gone missing, maybe he would blame himself. Maybe he can say that he's upset because of that. Actually, what he's really upset about is abusing in the most horrendous way, got a nice battery charge, I'm going to show you that in a minute, and then murdered her. Maybe that's what he's upset about. Maybe he regrets it now. Yeah, well, too late. Can't bring the dead back, can you? All right, this is his S battery charge here. Look at this. He's in big trouble. Even if he never gets charged with murder, which I think he will, personally. People are asking, when will he be charged with murder? Well, look at it this way. He's in jail now with no bond. They could take a year to bring a charge of murder. And he'd still be in jail on these other charges. Because he's going to get found guilty, isn't he? Because the video evidence, allegedly, is right there. S battery, victim under 12. Because remember, in 2022, when this first started, or at least they've got the first evidence thereof, Madeline was only 11 years old. Just 11. So he's in big trouble. The cops don't need to be any rush to bring the charge of murder. They can make sure that they've got an absolute watertight case before they make that charge. And obviously, once that charge is made, then the clock starts ticking. Because he can then force the prosecution into a speedy trial. And if they're not completely ready, obviously if he was at large and there was the threat of him committing further crimes, that's different. Right? They've got to arrest. As soon as they've got the probable cause, they've got to arrest. They've got probable cause for this guy, but they might as well wait. So how long they'll wait, though, I don't know. Now, this is weird. The Osceola Sheriff's Department is in trouble. They've leaked a crime scene photo. The sheriff posted a crime scene photo, apparently, of human remains on Instagram. Immediately took it down, but people managed to screenshot it. The news put it on screen with the entire picture blacked out, but apparently this was close-up of the crime scene. And then we've got this clown here, Nerva Rodriguez, the Osceola Sheriff's Department Executive Director, showing an image on her personal Facebook. Like bragging rights. Look, we got him. Sterns being led out of a building in handcuffs reportedly captured her post. If God's love has been poured over your life, don't allow evil to keep you away from what he prepared for you. Unclear what her intent behind the message. Well, we don't know. Bragging rights. Dear me. All right. going to get into this interview. So this is 9 minutes. And it's Fox 35 Orlando. They posted this interview days before the other interview, the WRTV interview. But we know that that interview was done the day after Maddie went missing. It's unclear whether this was on the same day or this actually came after that interview. I don't know about the time. I don't think it matters. She says much the same as she did in the other interview. What is interesting in this interview is Stephan Sterns appears here. And what I've done is I've edited this so you see him clearer. You'll see what I mean once we get going on this. Right, let's go.
Tell us what's going on with Maddie.
Monday morning, we took her to school. We dropped her off close to school, across the street from a church, which is it's right next to the school.
Like I said yesterday, she's using the royal we. And she corrects herself very quickly in this interview. She didn't correct herself as quickly in the other interview. She is using the royal we. It's strange. I don't know. Maybe she does that all the time. Like whenever she's talking about what either her or Stephan did, she says we. We don't know because we don't know what her baseline behaviour is, do we?
She crossed the street.
And if she dropped her off across the street from the church, then she's got to cross a highway to get to the church parking lot, which in itself is weird. The story just does not make sense. But obviously, again, she's the Don Wells of this case. Don Wells, Summer Wells' dad, wasn't there when Summer went missing. But yet parrots this script and has been parroting this script for nearly 3 years now, because Summer's, yes, been missing that long, almost 1,000 days Summer Wells has been missing. But he parrots this script, but only one person actually knows what happened, and that's Candice. In this case, only one person knows the truth, and that's Stephan Sterns. And Stephan Sterns has perhaps fed her this line. How much she believes it, is she secretly harbouring fears that he's done something to her, depends how much of an inclination she had about the abuse that was going on. Because if she already had an inclination of the abuse that was going on, then surely her brain would jump to, he's done something. But if she had an inclination about the abuse that was going on, then why didn't she stop it? So did she have absolutely no inclination that it was going on? There's been allegations that Madeline had spoken to people and her words were ignored, but that is only allegations on the internet. We don't know whether we can believe any of what's on the internet at the moment. People coming out saying that they knew Stephan, people coming out that they knew the couple. They're interesting interviews, but I take them with a pinch of salt. I'm not saying that they're not true. I'm just saying I take them with a pinch of salt unless I can verify the information therein. Okay, so it is possible that she had absolutely no inclination. Cases do happen where the non-offending parent absolutely had no idea. It depends how good the perp is at manipulating the situation. Some are very good indeed. It's not without the realms of possibility that she absolutely, genuinely knew nothing, but it remains to be seen.
And walked to school, what we thought walked to school. My boyfriend who drove her to school drove away at that point. It was seen on video footage that she hung out in the parking lot of the church for a few minutes and then got up and walked towards the school. But she never made it for that walk and that was around 9 a.m. when she got up. She never made it to school after that.
She hung out in the church parking lot for a few minutes, and at 9 a.m. she got up. What was she doing? Sitting down? She got up and walked to school, but she never made it. And at this point, Stephan Sterns comes and pulls up a stool and sits in the background. Now, I've made him bigger and sharpened the image, and so we can see him a little bit clearer. Not that he does anything really strange. The whole thing's strange. It's just bizarre. This interaction is bizarre. That he comes and sits in the background. I'd be interested to know whether Fox News asked whether he wanted to be interviewed as well, because he's the one with the story. She's just Don Wells. She wasn't there. So did he decline being interviewed and then came and just sat in the background? What was the purpose of him sitting in the background? To listen in? Did he know he was on camera? Maybe he just didn't know he was on camera. But he actually pulled up a stool. I think he knew he was on camera. I don't know whether it was to listen in or to intimidate Jenn.
It's right next to the school. I don't know why she didn't make it. I don't know if something happened on her walk along the way or if she got taken, but she never made it.
If something had happened on the walk, it's just a few minutes along a busy highway. Someone would have seen her. And as I said yesterday, highly unlikely that a girl of her age, or any age, would get taken on a busy highway. You know, the people dropping kids off at school, people going to work. She's not thought it through. If she genuinely had no inclination that Stephan had done something, and those were her choices, I could understand her being confused. However, jumping to she's been taken before exploring all other options, including did he do something, I don't know. Maybe she had explored all other options at this point.
Was the last anyone seen of her or heard from her?
Yes, I went to pick her up after school, and she wasn't there.
Yeah, there he is, cracking his knuckles. Is that a habit? Does he do that all the time? Some people just crack joints as a habit. I had a friend at school. She used to be able to crack her joints really loudly. And she just loved doing it. It was like, she just did it. But also, cracking knuckles can be relieving stress. Or it could be an intimidation thing that she could hear him cracking his knuckles in the background. I don't know. Again, we've no baseline. It depends on whether he does this usually. Is this his pattern? He just likes to sit there cracking his knuckles. If it is, then there's nothing unusual about it.
So I started driving around, maybe thinking she took a walk. Maybe she decided to walk to my mom's office, which is pretty close to the school as well.
So she doesn't know her own address, but she knows where grandma works. Okay, makes sense.
I drove around and I didn't see anything. I drove back to the school. The school was closed. I emailed one of her teachers. They confirmed that she was absent all day. At that point is when I called 911 because I realized something was truly wrong.
Have you heard?
So she said she called 911 around 4:45. So I'll reiterate what I said in a previous video, that who dropped the ball here? If she truly did ring 911 at 4:45 and then the sheriff's office only came out at 8, I find that problematic. I really do. I mean, I know they're busy, they may be understaffed, and they might think, well, she's a teenager, she's gone to a friend's house, give it a while. But
From like any of her friends, has she been active on any social media?
she hasn't been active on social media, none of her chats, none of her games. We did contact all her friends. None of them had seen her Monday or heard from her.
did you see that kind of big sigh? He's looking directly at the camera. He did like this big sigh.
Yeah, there's no update.
And I have to ask this, and I know I hate doing it, but is she the type that would run away? Has this happened in the past or anything? Has she ever threatened to run away?
Never. She's never ever mentioned anything like this before. She's not the type to want to do this. She did accidentally leave her phone on Monday, which is kind of normal for her. She's got ADHD and very forgetful. So she left her phone at home, so there's no way to trace her. They tried tracing her school laptop, but that's off, so it's not pinging to anything.
Yeah, it's in a dumpster. So did the school tell her it was off?
And what is your fear? I know you mentioned she's on games and stuff. Do you think she could have like met somebody and tried to meet up with them?
She's open to us. She's open with us about, if she's got a crush with anyone. And she told us she had a crush on someone at school. And I looked at their messages. And
Was Stephan jealous of that? We've got to think of a motive. If he's been abusing her for at least 2 years, what's the motive for him murdering her now? Was he jealous? Did she threaten to tell? Because she's growing up and she gets bolder. I don't know.
it was weird. I looked at all of her messages, all of her deleted messages, nothing seemed weird. It didn't seem like she was talking to anyone. So I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like she may have been taken because this
And
is...
she just said that so nonchalantly. I just feel she's been taken. I mean, look, someone in my comments said that I was judging her for not crying. Please provide the timestamp of where I was judging Jenn Soto for not crying. Listen, when my son was killed, I didn't cry. If a member of my family ever went missing under mysterious circumstances, if I did interviews with the media, I'd be suspect number one, because I wouldn't be crying. I'd be very matter of fact. However, she's just so nonchalant. It's like she doesn't believe what she's saying. And if she doesn't believe what she's saying, you've got to ask the question, why doesn't she believe what she's saying?
Not like her at all to just disappear and not tell us, not let us know where she's going or who she's with.
What are you getting from law enforcement? Are they actively searching for her? I mean, what happens now? I mean, especially that she doesn't have her phone with her.
So as far as I know, they're conducting a search around the school. Behind the school, there's a Shingle Creek. There's a wooded path area that you could walk. It's a hiking path. They are going back there with their canine dogs. They've taken a piece of her clothing to see if they can trace her scent.
And again, I would like to know what day this interview was, and I'd like to know what day they got the sniffer dogs out. I have seen pictures of bloodhounds out there, but that should be done ASAP. I mean, on natural surfaces like grass, mud, you've got a longer time span because the scent embeds itself better. But on artificial surfaces, like if they tried to track her from the church and you've got these artificial surfaces, then after a day, 2 days, the scent will have all but dissipated. The dog will struggle to get a scent. Moot points! Moot point, because she was never there. She was never there. That was all a lie. But in a real scenario, that's an issue.
They're also taking their own vehicles. I'm not sure what type of vehicles, but they're going into the woods to search for her. But I don't feel like that's going to find anything right now. We've had people all day on that trail sending us photos to see if anything there looks familiar and like her personal belongings, and nothing is hers.
And again, she says that so nonchalantly. Now they're not going to find anything. Well, you could say, is it because she knows where Madeline is and it isn't there? Or is it that she really believes that the people who searched the woods have done so comprehensively and therefore the police are not going to find anything? Or is it because she doesn't believe that Madeline has been taken or has gone into those woods? And if she doesn't believe either of those things, then what does she actually think happened? And is she harbouring in the back of her mind that Stephan actually did something?
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure where to go from here. I'm just contacting the news to get the word out, to get some help, because I'm desperate. I'm a wreck right now.
So you think that...
So I think that big sigh there, I think that was genuine, like release of... like you do that when you're releasing tension. She's genuinely stressed. You'd love to read someone's mind in situations like this, because she doesn't give much away. She's much like me. She's quite matter of fact. It would be interesting to be a fly on the wall if she was the one that said, I'm going to contact the news to get the word out. I wonder what Stephan said to that.
She's been taken against her will.
I do think so, yes.
As a mom, what's your mother's intuition telling you right now?
I'm trying to hope for the best, but I'm scared for her. I want her to be okay. I want her to be safe. I don't want her to come back harmed. I just want her back. Whatever that means. I just want her back.
I don't know whether that's a genuine expression of emotion, because I don't know her baseline. Does she look like she's actually crying? No. Does she put on a little baby voice when she gets upset? Maybe. Stephan's just completely emotionless there. You would think that it would be him that was comforting her at this point. If she was genuinely upset and he genuinely had nothing to do with this, wouldn't he come over at that point and put his arm around her or hold her hand or something, anything? Just sit there. You're looking away from the camera now, Stephan, aren't you? You're not looking into the lens now, are you? No, you're looking away. Is she at the verge of breaking down and she's holding it in? Maybe.
Are you getting any updates from law enforcement? I mean,
There was no tears. She's done the Stephan Sterns eye wipe there. There was no tears. She didn't need to wipe her eyes. I'm getting picky now, but yeah.
Yes, they're searching that small area, but have they gotten any hits on any scent or anything like that?
They haven't let me know anything. They haven't updated me since I spoke to them this morning. I've contacted them to get some information or to give them some leads, but I've heard nothing back.
Do you know why that is? Do you know why they don't contact you? It's because they're looking into you.
And Jenn, there's no way that she just being, a teenager was like, maybe had a fight with you or an argument with you and was like, you know what, I'm going to go hang out at so-and-so's house and teach her a lesson. Could that be a scenario?
I don't believe so. We actually haven't gotten into a fight in like a few weeks or arguments or anything like that. If anything, on Sunday, she celebrated her 13th birthday with my entire family and she had the best day. She was so happy. She showed us all her gifts. She's just a happy girl, and she showed it on Sunday night when she went to bed. She was so happy. So, she had the best day.
I've still got a massive issue with the timeline. Because if Jenn Soto saw her on Sunday night, how did Madeline get murdered in the middle of the night or in the early hours of the following morning without Jenn Soto knowing? Did Stephan murder her silently? It's possible, but unlikely that there'd been no noise whatsoever when you're being murdered. Did he take her out somewhere once Jenn was asleep and murdered her elsewhere? That's why Madeline was seen in his vehicle at 8:19. I've just got a problem with this whole scenario. And her saying in the PCA that he picked her up. None of that works for me. That is the big, massive question mark that I need answering before I'm going to believe that Jenn Soto knew absolutely nothing. That's the thing that I need settling.
I just, there was no moment in that evening from when she got home from the party that she had her phone or had the laptop. She went straight to getting ready and went to bed. So I know she didn't have any conversations with anyone. She didn't make plans with anyone. I didn't see any of that.
Well, how do you know? If she went into her bedroom, she might have talked to people on her laptop or on her phone. Or do you take her phone and laptop away when she goes to bed? Is she not allowed them in her bedroom? We don't know, do we? Maybe she was completely zonked out and maybe that's absolutely true. I can't get my head around that Jenn was there, Madeline was there, and then she gets murdered in the night and Stephan apparently wasn't there because he had to come back and pick her up. And what she didn't mention in this interview is that she wasn't at the party. Stephan apparently was at the party, but she wasn't because she had to work. She doesn't mention that in this interview at all.
She's spent the whole Sunday celebrating her 13th birthday. Was her 13th birthday on that Sunday, or that was just like the time you guys were celebrating?
That was the time we were celebrating. Her birthday was on Thursday, the 22nd.
And that's another royal we. Or we were celebrating because she wasn't there. She had to work. She tells the other channel.
She just turned 13.
But that's just so heartbreaking to be celebrating her 13th birthday and then the very next day. That's gone. The last you've seen of her.
Yeah.
Again, it's very nonchalant. Like, yeah, she's gone. Wow.
Where do you go now? Are you gonna go out there and search or look, or what are you sticking by the phone? Are you what are you doing?
I'm staying at home, staying by the phone, hoping she just appears.
How can she just appear? She doesn't know her address.
My entire family is out looking. They've all spread a bunch of flyers. I've had people contact me that they've gone to the international airport to spread flyers, to Amtrak, to Greyhound, just any way that if someone's taken her and they're trying to take her, just to show her face, just to make sure, she's not being taken against her will.
And you mentioned ADHD. Was there anything else maybe mentally going on or that you knew of?
She does suffer from anxiety. And
so this is where he goes and he doesn't come back. Why did he leave at that point? He's been sitting there on his little stool, mainly looking away from the camera, unless they were talking directly about, the school drop-off, and then he was staring right into the camera. But now they're talking more generically about Maddie and her ADHD. He goes. Huh.
Once upon a time, she was diagnosed with autism. We had her what's the word?
Screened, maybe?
Reevaluated.
Okay.
We had her reevaluated a few months ago, actually. And they told us, no, she didn't have autism, but she did have some autistic traits. She did have ADHD, some autistic traits, but not autism. So I'm not sure where to leave with that, because one doctor said she did and one doctor saying she doesn't. And I don't know. She's just in the middle, I guess, because she does have some tendencies, but socially she's pretty great. So I'm not sure.
And with the video that you were able to see whenever your boyfriend dropped her off, where was that? Which video? Was that a surveillance camera?
It was a surveillance camera from the church, Peace Church, right next to Hunters Creek Middle School.
Do you have that video?
I don't have that. They didn't show me. They wouldn't show me. It was actually...
They wouldn't show me. They wouldn't show me. Why? The person closest to Madeline, surely they'd show that video to for verification. They wouldn't show me. She's a person of interest, or at least she was at that time.
My sister was the one at location, and they were letting her know what they saw on camera.
So instead of the mother, they go to an auntie. That's very interesting.
Okay.
But they didn't show it to any of us.
Got it. Okay. Jenn, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Please, 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 if you have any information, contact me, contact law enforcement. Any information helps. Maddie, if you see this, please come home. Please be safe. I love you very much. If you have my Maddie, please just let her come home. We just want her home.
Back to the baby voice. I don't know what to think about Jenn Soto. She gives me a bunch of red flags. Not because she's not crying. She just gives me a bunch of red flags. It's her words. It's because I can't get my head around Jenn Soto's timeline. And you know me, if I can't get a timeline together, I've got a big problem. And I'll continue to have a big problem with Jenn Soto until I can reconcile those strange inconsistencies. So that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.